All right, we're live. Hi, everybody. Satnam, and welcome to Heart to Heart with me, Shakti Sundari, and I'm going to have a special guest on today, Shan Major, who is a self-love witch. And because of that, I have got my magic wand with me as well. And hopefully Shan will be bringing her wand to this conversation too. Shan focuses, obviously as her name suggests, on teaching, guiding, coaching, facilitating self-love. What could be more important than that, really? I mean, in my many years of teaching and facilitating, what I've come to know, and I think many people say this, is really at the root of everything is self-love, or an absence thereof, any issue in your life really. But don't let me put words into Shan's mouth. I'm just waiting for her to join the call. And okay, maybe that's Shan.
There you are. Hello. I'm here.
That took ages. Were you trying to get on the call the whole time?
I couldn't see the live pop up, and then I refreshed my page, and then I saw it straight away.
Okay, good. I'm just gonna right. Lou, all right, I'm going to ask somebody who's watching, can you hear us, Lou? Just to make sure that it's working now. It's a little bit of a time lag with comments and things, so just want to be really clear that everyone can see us and hear us before we actually get going into the juicy stuff, because it'd be nothing worse than having a really juicy conversation and then people not being able to hear us or see us. So okay, Lou is there, but I can't see any comments. Can you see any comments, Shan? No.
There's a bit of a delay on my end. I'm just trying to see if my connection can be better.
Yeah.
I think the delay's quite bad, actually.
I can hear you and I can see you, and Lou's just sent a heart, and Jen's there as well. Hi, Jen.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Hello.
So I was just showing everybody my wand. This is my magic wand.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's been really special. This was given to me when I left America 12 years ago. So did you bring your wand along?
I will show you it. It's not as impressive.
Oh, it's probably more impressive.
Okay, here it is. It's got an amethyst crystal.
Oh, see, that's a proper wand. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you make it?
I love it. No, I didn't. I got it from someone else who makes them though, so it's handmade.
It's beautiful. Yes. Oh, so we're going to make some magic this morning. We're going to weave some magic. Okay, so people can see us.
Absolutely.
People can hear us. I'll try and slow down a bit because I'm excited. So because of the time lag, I'll just try and speak slowly. So welcome, Shan.
Thank you for having me and inviting me to have this conversation with you.
So just for anybody who's watching, Shan and I have never met. This is the wonder of technology and Facebook. We just somehow connected through mutual people on Facebook, but we've never met. We've never spoken until about 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I've just, things work on resonance, don't they? And I've just noticed posts that Shan's been making on Facebook recently, about self-love and about relationship, and they've really kind of stood out to me, all of your posts, in terms of the truth that you are articulating in such a clear, inspiring, vivid way. And I was like, right, I have to speak to this woman and find out what's going on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I guess, where would I like to start? I'd like to start with what you call yourself a self-love witch.
Yeah.
So what's the witch thing about?
Well, it's interesting you ask that, because I've been involved with witchcraft since I was about 7 years old. It was just something that I was born into. I don't really know where it came from exactly. My nan influenced me a lot, but it was just something that I was always engaged with. And so I can't really remember a time when that hasn't been part of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for you? Because I can imagine if people are watching this, some people will get an understanding or already know what you mean, but other people might hear the word witch and feel a bit spooked, or think of a lady in a pointy dark hat or something, So what does witchcraft mean for you?
Yeah, I think it's knowing that we have the power to create our own reality, that we can, manipulate the way things are, using the elements, using the earth, tapping into different levels of consciousness, different planes of reality. Yeah, I think it's knowing that you have the power of everything, that you are God. There's nothing more powerful than you, but to the same effect, you are part of everything also. And I think I just had that inner knowing as a child, so it was just like, oh, of course I'm going to play with this stuff.
So give me an example of something that you would do when you were little then, like that would quite naturally be part of what you did.
Yeah, making potions, writing spells. I was very obsessed with fairies as well. I used to write letters to fairies and leave them in trees. I used to meditate at the top of my nan's stairs and just kind of tap into this other plane of reality, and it would kind of freak me out actually, because at that age I didn't really have a concept of meditation or different realms, but I would go to these places and I would feel that, okay, you're not just a little girl, you're so much bigger.
Wow.
Like almost like imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Like I'm not a body, I'm in a body, and I could feel my soul.
Wow.
Yeah, and I used to go quite deep and then be like, oh God, I don't really understand this or know what it is, until kind of later on in life I kind of got it.
And did you tell your family about this?
No, because I didn't know how to articulate it. I mean, my family's quite spiritual anyway, so I don't think it would have been a huge deal. And sometimes I'd see spirits as well. Yeah, my family's always been quite supportive. I think they're just like, that's just how you are.
Oh, that's wonderful. Is there anybody else in your family, in your lineage, who kind of carries that?
Yeah, my great nan, she was a medium and she read tea leaves. Yeah, so she was kind of the last person I can think of that embodied that.
Okay. Wow. The one thing that you said, like, I can relate to so much of that, although I wouldn't call myself a witch. My lineage is different. But when you said the word manipulate, then I got like a little bit, oh, you know, does that mean that you're playing with trying to change the natural flow of life or change people's destinies? Or like, how does that word, like, what does that mean for you when you say manipulate? Because that kind of,
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually thought about that word before I said it as well.
yeah,
Um, I think we're always creating our own reality, whether we realize it or not. Our belief system, the energy that we put out there is dictating what we experience and what's attracted to us. So when I say manipulate, I mean we're consciously controlling that. We're not at the mercy of it, which sometimes we think that we are. We're actually putting our hands behind the steering wheel and saying, okay, so if this is how things work, then I'm going to take it here.
right, okay, okay, I get you. Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it's kind of like wonderful, but can be so darn frustrating as well sometimes to know that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you've got a blind spot or you haven't shined a light on something and you're like, how is this still happening to me?
Yeah, yeah. All right, so thank you, we got the witch thing there. And I now want to ask you, these are really basic questions, but I hope they're useful for people watching. Um, how you got to focus on self-love.
Yeah. Um, Throughout most of my life, and even still now to a degree, I've really battled with unworthiness. Um, in the past, depression, anxiety, feeling suicidal, feeling that I had absolutely no control over my life, um, just feeling very helpless, and also using the relationships in my life, family, friends, boyfriends, to kind of fix me and save me, or then trying to fix and save them to take the attention away from myself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, being a people pleaser, not having any boundaries. Yeah, just believing that my worth and my value came from what I could give others,
Mm-hmm.
rather than what I could give myself.
Is there any part of is there one thing that you can identify in your history that's kind of created that experience for you, do you think? Or, is that just part of how you've been? Or did something happen for you that then created those beliefs and that conditioning?
Yeah, um, I believe that I chose to be born into a family where my mum and dad didn't have the emotional capacity to meet my needs in a lot of ways.
Right.
And I think that's the story for so many other people as well.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not alone there. But as someone that was very sensitive and intuitive from such a young age,
Yeah.
I was hyper aware of that.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess then shrinking or forming coping mechanisms um, and beliefs in order to function and survive through that.
Yeah, I totally get that, and really resonate with you in terms of, yeah, believing that we choose the families that we're born into to have the formative experiences that we have, in a way to create the conditions for us to step into our fullest potential, as it were. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. And then so you also on your website you actually mentioned the word trauma, I think.
Yeah.
Want to say a bit more about that?
Yeah. Do you mean in terms of my own trauma?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Abandonment from just about anyone I was close to, especially romantic partners, rejection, paranoia around how I'm being perceived, if I'm being liked, if I'm giving enough, if I'm being a good person. Yeah, and one of the big ones that I've been working through a lot this year is being able to be vulnerable, being able to be in my heart, being able to be seen, being able to be received. Because I didn't know how to receive as a child, because part of how I functioned was you don't receive. Because to need to receive, to need anything is to take up space and be a burden. And you can't be a burden.
Right. Oh gosh, I can so relate to that bit myself. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be a burden because the people around you aren't able to fully support you. They can't meet your needs, so don't have any needs. So then when it comes to speaking about how I feel, what I desire, what I want, for a long time it's been like, well, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I feel. Because that part just gets shut down.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Again, I can so relate. It mirrors a lot of my own experience. Very much so. So, and I'm sure people watching will be able to relate to this too.
Yeah.
Beverly says, please can you add the website? We will at the end. I'm just going to stay more immersed in the conversation and the comments right now. So then how from that place, how did you begin to find healing for yourself and change for yourself? Was there something that catalyzed that?
Yeah. About 4 years ago now, my boyfriend at the time broke up with me, and I was completely addicted to him. It was a very codependent relationship, but at the same time, it was just very unhealthy. He had drug addiction issues, and I knew that I was sacrificing so much of myself, but I was so addicted to the relationship and having that fix from him, that I was willing to just compromise everything. And then when that happened, dealing with the extreme depression because it had surfaced all my abandonment stuff, it was honestly like, if at that time, if you could have said, what's the worst thing that could happen to you, that's what I would have said. And the space that put me in, it was like, well, you either heal or you die. And I'd felt like that quite a few times, but this was the point that really pushed me, like, right, I'm not doing this anymore. If I'm going to stay in this place, then I might as well not be here, because what's the point?
Yeah. And again, I can relate. I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like being in a black hole, and it's like, well, I can suffer and wilt and die in this black hole, or I can climb out of it.
So where did you first turn? Like, did somebody reach out to you? Did you get like some inspiration? Did you receive some guidance? Like, what was your first point of call out of that?
Yeah. I feel like I've always been quite lucky in the fact that whenever I hit rock bottom, I see God at the same time. Can you still hear me?
It just froze for a moment. Can you just repeat that? You said when you get to rock bottom.
Yeah, when I get to rock bottom, I also see God. So I'm completely in a dark hole, but I also will have that higher perspective of everything. And it's like, I'll get that hit of truth. And it's those moments of truth that keep me going. So at that time, what was a massive catalyst for me was reading The Power of Now. That was huge. Yeah, and just realizing my divinity and that it was a lesson and something that I'm to grow through.
That all makes sense to me, totally. And I'm thinking somebody watching this who may have experienced similar or be experiencing similar might be thinking, yeah, but it's not that easy, is it? Like you go into that black hole where you literally might feel suicidal or like giving up on life. And I've been there a few times, you know, literally, I just, what's the point? And it's so black. And how do you get from that to the other side, to the place where you're able to
Yeah.
see the gifts, where you're now living on purpose?
Yeah. It's a process and it's a journey. I don't think there's any one answer or any kind of fix. For me, it was starting to meditate every day, um, stimulating myself with things that nourished me on a soul level, things um, that influenced me to engage with the truth of myself and the universe, so I wasn't stuck in this kind of victim mentality where it was all just pain and, you know, I am unworthy, I have been abandoned again. Because that's what it was like. It was like, well, you always feared you would be abandoned, and you was, so I don't know what to tell you. And that's a very easy thing, a natural place to go to when things like that happen. But I was consistent in my rituals and practices around meditation, reading. Those were the main ones. And also just facing myself over and over again, allowing myself to go to those dark places, allowing myself to cry and break and crumble, because those are the times when this emotion and this trauma, when it was alive, I could release it, I could harness it and do something with it, rather than what I was used to, which was push it back down, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I totally get that. I've totally been there, totally done that. And so I'm with you, totally with you. What, again, a question people might be asking who are watching is, and or might be feeling, is a fear of facing that degree of intense pain.
Yeah.
What can you say about that?
Yeah. Again, I feel quite lucky because I'm quite naturally brave. I am quite fearless, and if I know something is going to help me grow, I will do it. But at the same time, I have a tendency to avoid my feelings as well, because that was such a heavy coping mechanism as a child. And it might sound quite vague and cliche, but I always think there's no pain, no gain, and it's like a moment's pain for a lifetime of pleasure. If you're gonna carry on suppressing and pushing down everything, well, you're gonna carry on being in this hell loop and things are gonna stay the same. Or you can push yourself into the healing process, like take the sting, take the discomfort, go there with yourself. And it's like the inhale and the exhale. It's like the resistance, and then you surrender, and then it's like the ecstasy. And that's how I think of it every time I'm going through that process. It's like, oh, I'm restricted, I'm trying to avoid it, and doing that over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets easier with time, I have to say. The more we do it, that's how I
Exactly.
found anyway. Like, you know, it's not like, just personally speaking, it's not like I don't still experience pain, or a whole range of emotions. It's simply that I'm more able to know that it's just something in a moment of time that's not going to be permanent. So I know that. And I also more confidence in being able to handle it, just in terms of being able to feel it fully, however intense it is. I can let myself be taken by it in a way. And the interesting thing is that I've found is that in going into it, like rather than avoiding it in some way through activities or food or drink or sex or whatever, if I just sit and go into it, actually quite often, well, every time, it goes quicker is one thing for for a start,
Yeah.
and then there's like always an opening on the other side of it, which is really amazing.
Mm.
An opening or a healing or an empowerment, or a realization that comes, but it can only come from feeling it and being with it.
Yeah.
That resonates with
Yeah.
you?
Like you said, oh, sorry.
Oh, go on.
Um, the more you get into a habit of facing your feelings rather than avoiding them, um, or choosing a distraction instead, it gets easier. And like you said, you realize that when you're going into that pain, yes, it's extremely uncomfortable and raw, but for me, there's always love on the other side of it. I always feel that sense of connectivity and being held. It's like you go through the gate and there's always a gift on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
It's never just black, 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 black. It might feel like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And when you've been in that, when you've been experiencing that, have you been able to, or have you chosen to do that by yourself, or have you had others hold space for you? Like, how has it worked best for you?
Yeah, I'm an only child and I spend a lot of time on my own, and I've been that way particularly throughout my healing journey. Um, so in terms of like healing emotionally, a lot of that has been done by myself, but I wouldn't say that that's the right way. That's just part of how I am and
Right.
how I deal with things. But also luckily have had a few really close friends that I know that I can always reach out to and talk through things with. But yeah, that's been a learning curve for me, because I'm someone that if it's emotional, I don't want to be seen in it. I can't fully express it around anyone else. So it's usually, yeah, me, myself and I, where I'll kind of break and go to those really low moments with. But yeah, being able to talk about it after and vocalize it is definitely helpful.
And so this, like it seems to me, I mean, I haven't known you for long at all, and only virtually, but it seems like there's this sudden burst of like cosmic inspiration that is coming through you right now in your posts. So I'm really curious to know, like, where's that coming from? Obviously it's you, but it feels like it's also beyond you, and it's like it feels like what you're articulating at the moment are truths for you, but truths for all our hearts. And I don't know if this is true, but also it seems particularly that you're speaking to the feminine.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a huge breakthrough recently around how um, I've been scared to be in my femininity. I've been scared to be seen. I've been scared to receive. I've been scared to feel pleasure. Literally, I was completely numb to pleasure. Um, this time last year,
Wow.
was very, very shut down in that way. Couldn't receive sexually. Found it very hard to be in my heart. And of course, the byproduct of that is um, not being able to have healthy relationships, not being able to connect sexually, not being able to have real intimacy with other people. So breaking through that, and the way I kind of view it is like I had this inner masculine part of myself, which was like a hyper inner masculine that was almost like shielding me, like going, no, you can't feel, you can't be seen, you can't receive, it's not safe. And they've kind of united and come together, and he's like, no, I'm here, I've got you. Like it's it's safe to be seen. You can hold boundaries, you can honor your standards and be in integrity, and you can still be in flow. You can still be sensual and sexual and in your heart. Like, it is safe if we're together. But if I'm not here and you're just open with no gates of protection, then you're not going to feel safe. And then your boundaries might be crossed, and then you're going to overgive. So uniting the two of them has been really, really powerful.
Yes. And again, totally relate. Big part of my own work and journey as well, and it's ongoing. Is there, you know, again, for people watching, is there a process that you did for that? Is there a ritual that you did for that? Or is it more a case of, you know, that ongoing dialogue that you began with your inner masculine?
Yeah, I think the part of myself that was shut down was the feminine. So it was going into those emotions of fearing vulnerability, fearing intimacy, the numbness that I had. So yeah, a lot of yoni massaging. So actually moving the numbness, moving the energy, meditating on both of those spaces as well. So my masculine is on my right side, my feminine on my left side. So sometimes just feather light touching my body from the right to the left. So it's like my masculine touching my feminine. Yeah, so like giving and receiving from both sides.
And the yoni massage, for anyone who doesn't know what that is, you know, I'm assuming most people will, but were you doing that yourself, or were you seeing a practitioner?
I've done it both ways.
Yeah. So that's sacred massage of the vulva, the vagina, sacred sexual organs of the feminine. It's done as a divine ritual of honoring. Just to say that for anyone who doesn't know. Yeah. So this is interesting for me, which is that your how the sexuality is connected to your healing and your blossoming.
Yeah. How is it connected? Yeah, I think it's, so the sacral chakra for me is all about receiving and connection and pleasure, and part of being able to energy was shut down. I didn't feel that I was able to receive. I felt very blocked creatively. It was like I would have ideas and visions, but I actually couldn't bring any of them to fruition. And through having, actually, I had a pelvic bowl activation where my ovaries, cervix, womb walls, clitoris, vagina was cleared emotionally. And through having cleared that, my own creative cycle in terms of what I want to bring through into the world and sexually is actually functioning. Woo!
Brilliant. Oh, it makes me really happy.
And that's something that I'm going to be offering to other women soon as well. Come April, May time, I'm going to be doing those pelvic bowl activations as well.
Ooh, amazing. What's really beautiful, I notice, is the softness to you.
Thank you. It's been a work in progress.
And I think this is really lovely for people to see, that a woman can be in her power and be soft and yet be powerful.
Yeah, I think a lot of women or society have this belief that if a woman's going to be powerful, then she can't be in her heart, she can't be in her sexual energy because it's not safe, or she's going to be disrespected, or she'll be seen as a sexual object. And what I've learned is, if my inner masculine is holding me, supporting me, is honoring his values and his needs, then I can absolutely be seen in my sexual energy and drop into my heart and my softness. I'm not going to be passive or weak or a doormat.
Yep. Really good messages. Yeah. Hearts. Okay. Gosh. Oh my God, we've been talking for ages already. I didn't realise. This time is just flying. Okay, so I bet
time flies when you're having fun.
It does. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm a bit shocked. In a good way. So, I'm just going to come back to a couple more things then. So, is there something, because when we were talking just before we came on, is there something that has catalyzed this new burst of clear output from you?
Yeah, it's been having healthy intimacy with a guy, being able to be seen in my vulnerability, being able to be held, which isn't something that I would have said, I really need that in order to drop deeper into myself. Like, I have to have that. I never really had that view, but actually being able to receive that and feel that sense of safety from the masculine externally as well as in myself, has just been so powerful. And I do really have to give credit to that.
Right. Well done.
It took me bloody long enough.
Well, to me, you look really young, so I'm just in awe of, the work that you've done and you're doing. So bow to you, Goddess.
Thank you. Likewise to you too. Thank you for seeing me and proposing this discussion. It's been really beautiful.
So, is there one, and this is like really difficult, or maybe it's an easy question. It's an easy question. Is there one thing that you could suggest to anybody watching as a self-love, a super simple daily self-love practice?
Yeah. Check in with yourself every day. Like, even just in meditating for 15 minutes a day, checking in with yourself. I like to put my left hand on my womb space and my right hand on my heart. So I'm giving to my heart, receiving from my womb space. Even if you're a guy, men still energetically have a womb. Just checking in with myself, checking in with my emotions, asking what do I need, and if there's anything particularly alive within me emotionally, like shaking it out in a temper tantrum, punching pillows, screaming, journaling, just having that time where you just go within, check in with yourself and just connect to what's going on, because I feel that a lot of people avoid that on a daily basis, and when they feel a bit uncomfortable or they feel a bit anxious, the first thing is, go to my phone, watch Netflix, or distract myself with alcohol or people, and we just become so cut off from ourselves.
Yep. Absolutely. It's a journey of intimacy with the self. Beverly Bill says, what if you don't have a womb? I would say you have an energetic womb space, even if you don't have a physical womb. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, I haven't been looking at comments as we've been going along because I'm not really capable. Like everyone says, women can multitask. I cannot multitask. I can only interview someone and have a conversation and be present to them, or I can look at comments. I can't do both.
I'm exactly the same. I can never look at comments. I will just completely lose my place, so I don't ever see them.
So what we'll say is we will look at the comments and any questions underneath the video afterwards, and if any of us, either of us wants to respond, we will. And then also if people want to be in touch with you, find out more about what you do and your amazing gifts, how can they reach you? We'll post that underneath, but just say that as well.
Yep, so you can go to my website, www.theselflovewitch.com. If you want to check out what I'm offering, you can add my page, which I'll comment.
Okay, put it
underneath this video.
Yeah.
And at the moment, one of the things that I'm offering is soul-aligned love sessions for women who want to heal their heart, heal any abandonment, rejection, unworthiness issues when it comes to relating, also healing any wounds towards the masculine, your inner feminine, also anything around that stuff.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to say bye-bye, and thank you so much to Shan for this wonderful conversation. I can't believe it's been so long, but I hope everyone who's been watching enjoys it. And please don't hesitate to post questions. So lots of love and thank you so much.
Thank you. Lots of love to you. Take care. Mwah.
Bye, darling.